joined here by my esteemed panel representing institutions and organizations from across the globe. This webinar is one of many to come as part of our CutFest Education online events. CutFest Education Fairs prior to COVID-19 was a face-to-face education fair held in some countries across the Eastern Caribbean. This Michaelmas term, CutFest will provide college and university prep events online. Students from across the Caribbean have the opportunity to make use of our online school directories, which feature schools from across Canada, the US, UK, and Europe, our specially themed webinars like this one today, and individual school info sessions which will take place via Zoom and will also be streamed live on our Facebook page. Today's webinar aims to help many of you who may be considering studying abroad to prepare you with much needed, by providing you with much needed information. To help me do this, I'm joined by my colleagues representing institutions from across the UK, the US, and Switzerland. I'm joined by Mr. Martin Weiler of BHMS, which is Business and Hotel Management School, located in Switzerland. And he's joined by Stefan Corby, an alumnus from Trinidad and Tobago. We also have Ms. Camila Tobin, who originally hails from the wonderful island of St. Kitts, and is here to represent Midwestern State University in Texas. And we are also joined by Dr. Elizabeth Ade, who is from UniDirect and works with students looking to apply to school in the UK. And you will also see our student intern who will be helping me to host and moderate this session, Darian Cullimore, who is a current international student at Humber College located in Toronto, Canada. So hi everyone, all the attendees for joining us so far, and hi guests, hi my panelists.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. So before we get started, just a few housekeeping matters. Please note that attendees that are in the room today, please note that you will be muted for most of this session. We will start first with presentations from the panelists, and then after the presentations from the panelists, we will follow with a question and answer. You have a question and answer option to press so that you can submit any of your questions. You can do so throughout the presentations or at the point where we open for questions as well. And we will try to get to all of your questions before the session closes today. Please note that this session will be recorded and will be made available at a later date. So with much further ado, I'm going to ask Martin and Stefan.
All right.
You guys are up.
Perfect. So I can share. And can you allow me to share my screen so I can go through the slides?
Go ahead. You can do so.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Now you should be able to see the BHMS presentation, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You see it, right?
We do.
Okay, perfect. All right. My name is Martin Weiler. I'm the Director of Admission at BHMS. And with me here we have Stefan Corby, right, Stefan?
Yeah, hello everybody. Yeah. I'm a former student of BHMS. I did a culinary arts bachelor's degree in Switzerland with them.
So Stefan knows BHMS probably even better than I do because he's been there himself as a student. He lived in the residency. So later on, if you want to go, if you have questions whatsoever, you can probably answer them even better as I can. So now, yeah, we don't have too much time, so we're gonna make this rather quick. Now, what we do at BHMS, the programs, basically how they're built up, they're rather different than at other universities because at BHMS, we're not just teaching you something, you're also going to gain practical working experience in every single year because programs are built up in such a way that in each year you'll have a 6 months academic term, which then afterwards is followed by 4 to 6 months of internship in Switzerland. And that basically makes BHMS rather different than other universities, I would say. Now, we have programs depending on what you're doing at the moment, where you come from. We have a 3-year bachelor degree in either hotel management, culinary arts, global business management, and then we also do have in fact, top-up degrees. Most of the students from the Caribbean, they do like an associate degree in the Caribbean and then join us for a top-up degree where you are studying for 6 months with us and you do 4 to 6 months internship, and then you get already your bachelor's degree. And then some students, they do finish their master's, basically their bachelor's degree back home, and then they join BHMS for a master's degree. So here we have Master in Global Business Management, International Hospitality Business Management, and also we do have an MBA program. This is all the postgraduate programs. They're just 1 year, combining 6 months of studying and 4 to 6 months of working in Switzerland. Then now Switzerland, for you guys from the Caribbean, to just know where it is, we're pretty much in the center of Europe, surrounded by France, Italy, Austria, and Germany. So it's a great place to also discover the entire European continent. You can travel to Milan in like 2.5 hours by train. You can reach Paris in about 4 hours by train. And of course, every European city in about 1 hour by plane. Lucerne itself is the 5th biggest city in our country, although comparison to other big cities in the US, of course, it is rather small. It's a very safe place. Switzerland is considered as the safest country in Europe. The official language in Lucerne is German. And in Switzerland, by the way, for the ones who do not know, we do speak German, French, and Italian. But don't worry too much about it, as all the programs are in English. So you do not need to speak any other language apart of English. However, we do teach you a little bit of German, French, or Italian. Some students, they process better than others, right, Stefan?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, you basically have to go to the language classes, but it's not one of the degree subjects. So basically, the language classes are there to help you to get a little bit around. And of course, for the internship, it is good to speak some of the local language, because the better you do speak German, French, or Italian, the more interesting your internship will be. Then we have 4 buildings in the city center. They are very near from each other, and everything an international student needs is reachable while walking distance. So you can easily walk to the main train station, which is like about 7 minutes from your residency. From there, you can take a train to the airport, or even to Paris or Milan, wherever you want to go. So from this, it is quite interesting, I would say. We have 4 seasons in Switzerland. We have a beautiful lake where you can swim in the summer. I know it's not as beautiful as your beaches you have in the Caribbean, but on the other hand, we also have mountains. We have snow in the winter, which for some students from your parts of the world is of course very exciting and different, because at the end of the day, it's always nice to see something else, right? Here you can see some ideas of the accommodation, the student restaurants, just to give you a little bit of an idea. The culinary classes also, we have like 3 external kitchens, which are great. Then, as I said, the internship in Switzerland is basically what makes us very special, I would say, because in most of the other universities, you just go to study, whereas at BHMS, you're going to study, but you're also going to work. You are generally work for 4 to 6 months during each year. Per day, you work 7 to 8 hours, 5 days a week, 2 days you're off, and you get a monthly salary of about 2,200 US dollars. And of course, most important is you're going to get a working reference from Switzerland at the end of the day, which is highly recognizable and appreciated all around the world. So the main outcome of the internship is not the money, it is the working experience and the reference you're getting from the Swiss employer. The fees at BHMS, depending on the program, they're between 35 to 30,000, covering everything an international student needs. So it's course fee, accommodation, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, health insurance, everything is already included. You are able to apply also for a scholarship, which can result in a partial fee reduction. If you're interested to apply, we're happy to guide you through the scholarship application process and so on. My name is Martin, and Stefan is based in Trinidad. He studied at BHMS last year, I think. No, was it?
I graduated last year.
Yeah. And now, I mean, then Stefan wanted to go to the US, actually went to the US, and then coronavirus started, and and ever since he helps me a little bit in with BHMS in explaining students their experience and the idea, because at the end of the day, as I said, he's been there for 2 years. You've been at BHMS, right, Stefan?
Yes, that's correct.
So he knows the school very, very well. And he knows also the country very well, because at the end of the day, as I said, going to study that far abroad is a very big decision in your life. And you have to think of many, many things. It's already, we said 10 minutes, now we are at 8. Something else you want to say, Stefan? I think people ask questions at the end, right, Shia?
Yes, persons can ask questions at the end, but you're still pretty okay on time, though.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe Stefan, you tell a few words.
Yeah, sure. I would just like to encourage any students who are watching who are interested in hospitality or culinary arts to get in touch with us and ask questions, because I think that BHMS is one of the best opportunities for studying culinary arts or hospitality, especially if you're from the Caribbean region. I think all of us kind of get the idea that it's a little bit difficult for Caribbean people to get international exposure in hospitality. And for me, what the big reason behind going to BHMS was to be able to do internships in Michelin star restaurants, which for me was very important at the beginning of my career as a chef. So I would say that there are a lot of opportunities in Switzerland if you're focused and if you're driven, and having a Swiss education as well as Swiss work experience is very important, and it's going to help enhance your CV greatly and give you the right springboard to achieve what you want in your career. So we look forward to many questions from you all.
Yeah, at the end of the day, studying in Switzerland is it's like a brand name, you know. You can study hospitality definitely in the Caribbean as well. But if you look all around the world, many CEOs of five-star hotels, executive chefs, they are either Swiss or Swiss educated, because basically in Switzerland, we kind of developed this entire hospitality education system. And it's like a brand name to be Swiss educated in hospitality. And for this reason, it's already a door opener for your career. And I don't say with not going to Switzerland, you can't make it. Definitely you can make it anywhere, but it might help you. You maybe make it a little bit faster to senior management position. And also, you know, if you work in tourism and hospitality, it's good to see other parts of the world, because that eventually also will help you to understand your customer and different languages. And in this regard, it's definitely a great thing. And also, don't forget, BHMS is a very international university. We have students from almost 100 different nationalities. And you'll be able to build up friendships from all around the world. And often they stay connected, and you have a great network, which you can, of course, use as with friends, but there are students also, they use it in a professional way, doing business with other people all around the world. So there are a number of benefits, I would say, to study in Switzerland. At the end of the day, also, if you compare the price with other parts of the world, other education options, it is, I would say, it's definitely not cheap. Switzerland is a expensive country, no doubt. But if you see how much you pay, what are you getting? And you're getting a package including everything, the course fee, accommodation, health insurance. You're safe. You know everything is already pre-organized. You are getting a return, an immediate return of your investment with your income during your internship. So if you compare all those factors, I would say study in Switzerland is reasonably priced, I would say.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys from BHMS.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to let Camila, are you ready?
Yes, I am. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick. Okay. Can students see that? Can you guys see that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So my name is Camila. I am representing Midwestern State University. And today I'll speak to you a little bit on what to expect and what you should consider when you're traveling abroad to study. So diving right in, I split this up into phases. So we'll start with phase 1, and that's selecting schools and programs wisely. So what I want to encourage students to do, because everything we do, no matter what we do in life, it costs money. So you're gonna have to consider the cost, not just tuition costs, but when you get here, you're gonna have to consider your living cost, transportation costs, food costs, as well as the city's cost of living, because that too can help sway your decision when you're looking for a school. You can also look at the environment, and what I mean by this is look at the city life, the crime rate, the size of the city, the size of the school, the crime rate on and off campus, because that's one thing you want to make sure of when you get here, is that you feel safe and you're okay and you're focused on your studies and not worrying about, is there someone outside my window tonight? So, you just want to make sure that you have all of that research done on the environment, as well as academics. For this part, you're gonna have to look at the school size, the class size, the acceptance rate of the school, the graduation rate, the student to teacher ratio, because you're gonna want that personal relationship with your teacher. You don't want to just be another student ID number in the system. You want to have that personal relationship with your teacher. You want them to know you by your name, not, oh, that's number 808 in the system who got a B last year. So that's what you want to bear in mind when you're choosing schools and programs wisely. Moving on. So continuing with phase 1, you're gonna have to, when you're choosing a program, you're gonna have to have initial interest. I know mommy and daddy and granny and uncle, they just always want you to be to study law and to be a doctor or something. But you have to have that initial interest in a program, because when you get here, mommy, daddy, granny, and uncle not taking the classes for you. You're the one taking the classes, and you have to be invested in those classes. So you're gonna have to have that initial interest in your classes before you get here. Once you have that interest, you're gonna have to do research. By this, I mean, you're gonna have to look up the degree plans. I know at MSU Texas, our degree plans are all online. You're gonna have to look up your degree plans to see what coursework you're gonna have to take, and even what future employment you can get from that degree that you're getting into. Learn what the net worth of your job would be in the future once you get into that degree. because you're going to want to have something that's worth the while, worth the pain, worth the frustration, worth the stress. So do all of that. And then once you're done doing all of that, when you get here, you're going to have to apply yourself, because you're going to be the one responsible for your grades. So now we're going to go to phase 2, navigating the admission process. So to apply to our school, you're going to have to complete an initial application on Apply Texas. Once you're finished submitting the application, you're going to have to submit official transcripts and test scores. If necessary, your transcript would have to go under third-party evaluation, because US schools are not really familiar with foreign coursework. And just to get that familiarity and understand what courses you took, it has to undergo third-party credential evaluation. Test scores would be like ACT test scores, or if your first language is not English, that's just maybe, you're gonna have to submit an English language test. Fluency test. So that's one more thing for the admissions process. You're gonna also have to make note and keep up with the deadlines and monitor your application process and status, because you don't want to miss anything. You're gonna want to be on top of anything, and that way you could have everything submitted and nothing can affect your admissions to the school. You're gonna have to remain in contact with the international office, because we can help you best when you're applying. We can answer questions. We can help you get through the system as smoothly as possible. And if you also have questions in the night and our office is closed, you can also use our website. I have a link here. So yeah, and then after you've done all of that, all the application process and your application is complete, you're gonna have to start immediately working on submitting your financial documents to get your I-20 process and F1 visa process started. You can get your financials in order before you get accepted, but I know if you're taking out a loan or if you're getting a government scholarship, you actually have to show the acceptance letter. That's why I said after you're accepted, but you can work on that before. Then phase 3, what to expect when you arrive. So you're gonna have to bear in mind the climate. And with climate, I'm saying 2 things. Be aware of your surroundings, be culturally aware, because when you get here, you're gonna meet a lot of different people from ethnicities and different backgrounds, and you're gonna have to try to be a little culturally aware and empathetic to their cultures. Now that's one aspect of climate I want you to focus on, but the other aspect is, this is Texas. We have something that is called weather, that sort of stuff. The weather is just crazy. One minute it's sunny, another minute it's snowing, another minute it's raining, then it's just cold, then they have ice. So you're gonna have to bear that in mind. And if you're applying to our school for spring, you're coming in the prime time of our winter. So you're gonna have to get those winter jackets, those snow boots, those rain boots, because I can't tell you what this weather is gonna do tomorrow, not even tonight. So you're gonna have to bear those 2 things in mind when I speak about climate. Choices. Because you're coming up here and sacrificing money and your financial stuff and your mental and your emotional state, coming thousands of miles away from home, you're gonna have to make choices and sacrifices, because you're trying to save every dollar and you're trying to just get through your degree as smoothly as possible. And living, this can tie into choices, but when you're living whether you're living by yourself or with a roommate, you will have to make a compromise. There will be social choices and monetary choices, and those compromises are what are gonna help you through your academic journey in any US school. Because like I said, you're gonna have to be saving every dollar. You're gonna have to be making those choices that can help you finish your degree. And to continue with phase 3, when you actually get here on the airport, we have student volunteers who are so always happy to help any student from the Caribbean. Even if you're not from the Caribbean, you could be from Switzerland, the UK, anywhere you're from, they are willing to meet you at the airport, take you to the supermarket, take you to the bank, get you settled in, have little activities for you when you get here. Churches in the community is really heavily involved. Churches in the community, when you get here, they put together little welcome packages for you, where you get kitchen utensils, little blankets for your bedroom, pillows, just this nice care package for you for when you get here, just to make you feel welcome and to let them know, and to let you know that, you know, they care. They also have a church that is called Heritage, that has this Thanksgiving service and dinner for students who are staying here over the Thanksgiving break, because we generally don't have anywhere to go because it's such a short break. And they have this little dinner just to let you know that they're here and they're willing to take care of you and all of that stuff. And cultural awareness. I just want you to know the university and the city is definitely aware that you're here. They have different events that can cater to you. I know on campus we have something called Carib Fest, because I know Caribbean people like carnival and all of that stuff. So we have a little carnival for you guys to enjoy and showcase your culture to the city. But you must also recognize different cultures too, because everybody's recognizing yours. So you also have to recognize other cultures too, and put yourself out there and be open-minded, because when you form these friendships and networks with people, you may never know you can end up in the world after you graduate. These people can be the same people that you're working with, or maybe just lifelong friendships. So just also have that cultural awareness and be open-minded. And this is the fun part. You're also expected to respect city laws and university rules and guidelines, because this is no longer St. Kitts, this is no longer Guyana, this is no longer Trinidad and Tobago, this is no longer Barbados, where we slack off and don't follow rules or laws sometimes when we have to. You're gonna have to, because they are strict with their rules and their laws, so you're gonna have to do that. And it's a different environment. Also, you're expected to be responsible for your own grades. So don't come up here and think, okay, it's all fine and dandy and I'm cruising along. Because although the teachers are invested in you, you have to be invested in your schoolwork too. So you are responsible for your grades. And you must follow immigration rules, because you are responsible for staying and maintaining proper F1 status. And that could include not working off campus, because if you're on F1 status, you're not allowed to work off campus. And that can also include staying within the allotted credit hours that you're supposed to take on F1 status, that is 12 credit hours. But enough of all the lame and boring stuff, right? You're here for school. I know that, because the education comes first. But don't forget to have fun. These are going to be the best years of your life. Have fun. You know, if you want to go to a little party here and here, well, not in COVID times, but go to your little party. Have fun, make connections, get to know people better. You know, just have fun. Make the experience worthwhile. And then I'm just going to talk about COVID a little bit. For the university, we kind of follow the COVID guidelines a lot. I'm actually so pleased with how the students are trying to do their best to stay safe and keep others safe. So you're just gonna have to respect the guidelines. If you want to read more, there's a link I added here in the presentation. But just wear a mask, sanitize, protect yourself, protect others, and help to keep the spread down. But I think that the university is doing a really good job at following COVID guidelines. Thank you.
Hi, Liz. Thank you, Camila. And we'll have Liz. Liz is going to talk a bit about the UK in general and about medical school, applying to medical school in the UK, and some reference to University of Essex.
Okay, so my name's Liz Adey. I run a company called UniDirect based in the UK, and we help a lot of students study for a wide variety of degree courses across different countries. And thank you today for inviting me, Sheena. And I visited BHMS a year ago actually, and I can honestly say it's a very lovely place.
Oh, great.
So yes, good feedback from my visit there. And Lucerne is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning for studying in. Very attractive location. So today I'm going to touch on the UK application system, very briefly, and UK undergraduate applications for degree courses like medicine, so for the MBBS programme, or for universities like Oxford or Cambridge, are always made through UCAS. The same can apply actually for the University of Essex for undergraduate programmes. They can also be made through the UCAS system, which is the UK undergraduate application system. So I think, this has been covered a bit in terms of other people's presentations, but it's very important really when you're looking at what you want to pursue professionally, to think about what sort of career you want. Do you want something vocational like medicine? Do you want to look at other professions, perhaps other kind of healthcare professions like, physiotherapy, nursing, pharmacy? There's many different careers you can consider. And obviously it's important to think about what you enjoy. What do you like doing? This is your whole future you're talking about. What are you good at doing? What skills do you have? And the exciting part is really, there are so many options open to students these days. You can pick a wide variety of different countries. You can really sort of utilize your kind of education and opportunities that you have to go and study in many different destinations. And, reflecting on a career pathway like medicine, it is challenging to get in to study for a medical degree. And I can draw on, a few tips for UK applications in the upcoming slides. So UCAS has specific deadlines for, different universities and for a course like medicine. So for applications to Oxford or Cambridge, or for courses like medicine, dentistry and veterinary science, the deadline is October the 15th. So students have to apply October the 15th for entry the following September. So for this year, obviously we're running up to the deadline for entry for applications for medicine, and most medical degrees will start in September 2021. It is a very competitive process, and there are different aspects of the UCAS process that are really important to consider. And for a degree course like medicine, the most beneficial thing you can do to kind of aid your development and your CV is trying to get some work experience. This will then be reflected within your personal statement and if you have an interview. So it's very important that you've got some kind of credible background there for an application like medicine, to show that this hasn't just been something you're applying to on a whim. This is something that you've thought about applying for, perhaps several years really. So UCAS has other deadlines, and for most courses it is January the 15th. Although there are many universities and degree programs you can apply to after the January the 15th deadline, although it's a very strict deadline of October the 15th for students applying for medicine or Oxford or Cambridge. So this is something, if you need any advice, that I'm very happy to give you in terms of the application deadlines, because it is quite confusing really to understand. So looking at, applications to Oxford or Cambridge, there are just a few brief points that I thought I would mention. Obviously, there's a whole, variety of different degree programs you can apply to at Oxford and Cambridge. And you pick one, you pick Oxford or Cambridge for your application. And then you select 4 of the universities. So in UCAS, generally speaking, you apply to 5 universities. And what is worth doing as well is if you're applying for a specific course at Oxford or Cambridge, there will be associated admissions tests. So, for biomedical science, it will be the BMAT test, which is also one of the medical entry tests. So, touching at the kind of tests you have, for medicine, you either do, in the UK, you either do 1 of 2 medical admissions tests. So it's either the BMAT or the UCAT that you select, and you pick your universities accordingly, based on which pathway. I mean, they're both difficult tests, and the tests are used to screen students. So obviously the expectation is when you're applying for a course like medicine, academically, you are taking really, pretty much straight A students. And then the additional admissions test is used as another kind of, guidance aspect for admissions teams. The best subjects to study if you want to do medicine are chemistry, biology, physics, maths, really. And although technically, some courses don't ask for biology, I would highly recommend you do biology because clearly it's, very important and it will help your chance, really. So I think a combination of those 4 subjects, definitely integrating, chemistry, biology, maths or physics is really important. Graduate entry for medicine can be highly competitive in the UK. So graduate entry is normally a 4-year medical degree programme rather than the standard entry of 5 years for a usual kind of MBBS programme. And graduate entry would be kind of acceptable if you've done a first degree in a subject like, medical sciences, biology, something that is applicable to medicine. So UCAS requires a number of different elements as part of the application process. You need to submit a reference from your teacher, and obviously in the case of an application like medicine, asking maybe your biology teacher, your chemistry teacher for a reference, just outlining your kind of character, your dedication to studying that subject, and your suitability really for that course and university level education. Writing a personal statement, or I'm going to refer to it as a letter of motivation, as it often is, it's so important because you're basically writing about 2/3 of a page to 1 page of text. And it's got to kind of sell your ability, sell your enthusiasm and your drive. Why do you want to study that subject? If you're applying for medicine, what has inspired you? Why do you want to be a doctor? What work experience have you done? It's not always about kind of using overly sort of impressive language. It's about really kind of demonstrating your enthusiasm for the subject area and for, pursuing a profession. So just going back, I mentioned the admissions tests. They're really important to consider for applications for medicine or for Oxford or Cambridge, because they all have, you know, admissions test requirements. And the important aspect here is, you know, practice. Make sure you look and go over and scrutinise all the requirements, and, you know, book the admissions test as far in advance as you can. So medical degree entry, you know, if you're applying for medicine, you're going to be asked to do an interview. The same as, you know, for a kind of place at Oxford or Cambridge. So interview tips and advice, you know, go through a variety of different questions that you may get asked. Look back at your personal statement and make sure you're very familiar in terms of, you know, giving examples of your skills, your schoolwork, what you have done in your kind of personal life. And obviously, you know, show your enthusiasm and your passion, which is particularly important for a subject area like medicine, where, you know, that's what they want. They want, you know, doctors who, well, prospective doctors who have done their research, who understand different elements of what a career in medicine is going to entail. So general tips, you know, for deciding what you want to do at university. I think the key thing is, for anyone, do something you love and enjoy doing. So, you know, pick a subject that you're really enthusiastic about, because you've got to study it for quite a number of years. For a course like medicine, you know, really try to back things up with work experience. And this doesn't necessarily have to be big, you know, flashy placements, you know, shadowing doctors in hospitals. It can just be, you know, working as a healthcare assistant, you know, showing your kind of dedication over a number of years. You've always got to be truthful in your application. So make sure that you can back up everything you're talking about. So overall, that is kind of, you know, my summary of applying for UCAS. I can mention a bit about Essex now, because I do help students apply to the University of Essex. And what I really like about Essex is the campus is lovely. It's really, you know, really, really nice, kind of rolling hills, really very kind of relaxed campus, very safe. The students I know who, you know, who we've helped apply and study at Essex have very positive experiences. The application for undergraduate courses can be made through UCAS, and it's the same requirements. It's a reference, a personal statement, and a kind of general pile of admin details for your form. And I think the kind of really positive aspect with a university like Essex is they have, you know, really strong, you know, business school, really strong humanities department. So I have students there doing international relations with politics, you know, doing psychology. They've got quite a wide variety of postgraduate courses as well. And I think, you know, the students like the kind of general sort of relaxed feel of the campus. And, you know, they have won quite a kind of number of awards, really, in terms of student satisfaction. So on our website, we have a blog from a student who started a year ago at Essex doing international relations and politics. She's a Swedish student, and it was quite interesting to, you know, get her to do a blog to track her experience at Essex and to look at her overall transition.